What's up, y'all? It's Daniel the Shoemmelier. We as people sure like to make lists. Best basketball player of all time, best movie actor of all time, and of course, best sneaker of all time. And it seems like every year around November or December, we release our best sneakers of insert year here. But as of late, probably because people are searching for sneaker content, you get people that release best sneakers of the first half of the year or best sneakers of each quarter. You see this in fashion magazines, best fashion of quarter 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And so it's with that in mind that I wanted to take a look at two different lists of best sneakers of the year so far, which is basically the first 6 months of 2024. I want to look at them. I want to share them with you because I imagine one of these lists you're familiar with. The other list, maybe not so much, and discuss the similarities that they have, but more importantly, and there's way more of, the differences between the two of them. So let's talk about these two lists. On the first hand, on my left hand, we have Complex sneakers. Now, on June 18th of this year, they released their top 10 shoes of the year so far. And on the right hand, we have Gentleman's Quarterly, or GQ. On July 8th of this year, they released their best sneakers of the year so far, but no ranking. They just released the shoes as a list. So while Complex is a top 10, 10 to 1, GQ is just, we like these shoes. So let's talk first about Complex, because more than likely, if you're watching this channel, you are familiar with Complex sneakers. You're familiar with Brendan Dunn and Matt Welty and JLP and some of the other writers that come together to decide these lists. And for better or for worse, whether we like it or not, Complex sneakers is kind of the bellwether. They kind of talk about the trends. They let us know what they think. They're the place to go to, I suppose, for sneaker news online. Now, there are other great avenues you can get, like Nice Kicks, Soul Collector, Soul Retriever, Soul Savvy, etc. But Complex is probably the big dog, whether we like it or not. But the good thing is, the three hosts that we see on all the media, they're trained journalists. They have degrees and whatnot. But if there is a con, they're all New York City based. They're all East Coast. And I realize that New York is one of the greatest cities in the world, but New York ain't Austin. It ain't Houston. It ain't Chicago. It ain't Miami. It ain't LA. So I sometimes, and not just me, but I'll only speak to me, think sometimes there's a little bit of New York tunnel vision as to what is cool, what is acceptable, what is going on in the zeitgeist. So I say all of that as we get into their top list. Now, number 10, they had the Air Jordan 17 Low Lightning, which was released this year with the suitcase. Okay. Number 9, they had the Action Bronson and New Balance 1906R Rosewater, which I'm on board completely. That's a top 10 shoe. They have the Nike Air DT Max 96. Shades of the Nocta Glide from last year. I don't know why that shoe's on here. Of all the shoes that are on this list, that doesn't belong, at least according to me. The Air Jordan 4 Industrial Blue comes in at 7th. I'll buy that. At 6th, the Nike Kobe 4 Girl Dad. As a girl dad, and as someone who has that shoe and has not worn it, but really, really likes everything there is about that shoe, okay. Number 5, the Jordan Jumpman Jack TR. In terms of hype, I'll give it to you. But is it really like the best shoe of the year? One of the best shoes of the year? Number 4, the Nina Chanel Abney and Air Jordan 3. I think this belongs on this list. Absolutely. Number 3, the Futura and Nike SB Dunk Low. Not the biggest fan of it, and if it comes down to resale enough, I will get it, but I will acknowledge, yes, top 10 shoe of the year so far. Number 2, the Air Jordan 4 Bread Reimagined. I think it's too high at 2, but it belongs on this list. And number 1, the Adidas AE1, the Anthony Edwards 1. It's the hottest basketball shoe, without a doubt. I don't think it will be number 1 at the end of the year. And the very fact that you can't name a specific colorway of that shoe, you're just talking about it in general, I'll allow it because last year we saw that the Adidas Samba in general was the shoe of the year. So the Adidas AE1, sure, I'll give it to you on that one. But as we look at these shoes on the list, I have to wonder how many of these will be on the end of the year list. If we have 10, the 17 Low, not going to be on it. The Action Bronson Rosewater, maybe. The Nike, the Air DT, the Deion Sanders, not at all. The Air Jordan 4 Industrial Blue, I'll say a maybe. The Girl Dad, not at all. The Jumpman Jordan, maybe. The Nina Chanel, absolutely. The Futura, absolutely. The Bread Reimagined, I'd put it over the Military Blue. And the Adidas AE1, without a doubt, that is a shoe of the year. Now, as we look at this top 10 list, what do we notice? Well, there's 4 Nikes on this. There are 4 Air Jordans, 4 Jordan brands. So 8 of the 10 belong to Nike and Jordan brand. We have 1 New Balance and 1 Adidas. I tell you that because we turn to now the GQ list of their shoes. And before I tell you the list, in case you haven't read it already or you already know, let me tell you what they said about how they put this list together. What's really resonating now are sneakers with an original vision and an emphasis on premium materials and clean design. You can already tell where this is going to go. High fashion collaborations remain hotter than ever, with some of the world's most vaunted design houses linking up with sneaker brands to reimagine classic models. You know exactly what's going to happen. In short, some aspects of sneaker culture as we've known it are beginning to fade out, and they're quickly being replaced with new, extremely exciting alternatives. You can tell right off the bat, this list is not going to look anything like Complex's list. And as the kids say, I'm here for it. They have listed the Bodie and Nike Astro Grabber. I think the shoe's cool. I think it's way hotter and there's way more hype behind that than the Field General. I'm not sure why it didn't blow up, but if I remember correctly on one of the, speaking of the Complex sneaker shows, I think JLP did say when he was overseas, he saw a lot of the Bodie and Nike Astro Grabber. So in a lot of ways, that's where the heat is for Nike right now. The Jound in Adidas Samba. There are 3 different versions of it, and they're all very choice and amazing. Yeah, I'll buy that. The New Balance 1906L, the loafer. It hasn't even released yet to the public, and they mentioned that in this. I'm excited about trying this shoe on. I think it's so funky that it's going to be fresh. So I'm on board. The Studio Nicholson in Asics 368 V line 8, not 368, the 368. I'm not so sure about that one. I had to look it up, but my wife knew exactly Studio Nicholson, and she's way more into high fashion, so good for her. If I mispronounce this, forgive me. The Issey Miyake and New Balance MT100. Yeah. The Hidden New York and Asics Gel NYC, a shoe that should have been on the Complex top 10. Without it, like that one's on there, it's like, yeah, why is that not on the Complex top 10? I'll give them a pass on the Jound and Adidas Samba because many people are saying it just looks like a normal Adidas Samba. But as they said in GQ, this might be the example of what a premium high quality Samba would look like. It's the ones that are made in Germany, right? The Atmos in Adidas Gazelle 85. Of all the shoes on this list that caught me off guard and I ran to the resale sites to grab it, the Atmos in Adidas Gazelle 85. What a, I'm gonna say it again, funky, fresh shoe. Miu Miu and New Balance SL. It's a good shoe, good looking shoe, insanely expensive on retail if I am correctly talking about the right shoe. And then rounding out their list, the CP Company and Asics Gel Quantum 368, the second colorway of this silhouette on the list. So if you're keeping track at home, it's 1 Nike. Oh my gosh. 1 Air Jordan. Oh no, you mean to tell me only 2 on this list are Nike Jordan brands? Blasphemy, throw this list away, it doesn't matter. 3 New Balances. Well, okay. 2 Adidas. Oh, that's twice as many as the Complex list. 3 Asics for a total of 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10 shoes right there. Between the 2 lists, they only shared the Nina Chanel Abney and Air Jordan 3. Now, I mentioned that GQ was looking at things very differently. And Complex is probably just going off of hype and sneaker culture and what they're seeing. But they've said it. I've said it. Many of my friends have said it. I have yet to see the Adidas AE1 in the wild. It doesn't mean that it's not a hype shoe. It's probably because you can't get it, which I totally get. I've yet to see on foot the Nina Chanel Air Jordan 3 out in the wild. Now, I've yet to see the majority of these shoes, if not all of them, on the GQ list. I've seen the Lightning Low in the wild. Haven't seen the Rosewater in the wild. I've seen the DT in the wild. Air Jordan, the Industrial Blue, seen it. Girl Dad, seen it. Jumpman, seen it. Futura, seen it. Bread Reimagined, seen it. So, in a way, one could say that yes, the Complex list is more in line with contemporary, normal Joe Public sneaker guy. But then the GQ list is probably for the more elevated fashion houses as we talk about collaborations, premium materials, higher prices. And more than likely, if you think about these two lists, Joe Q America is probably like just right in the middle, right? They're like, I like them Jordans right there. Oh, those Adidas Sambas are pretty nice. I don't know why I spoke in that accent, but, and then you go, yeah, these Down Sambas are $800 on resale. What the hell? What in tarnation? You know, that kind of thing. Like the parents who bring their kids into shoe stores and they have no idea why the shoes are $400 now because they've walked into a resale store. Regardless, you as a sneaker fan, because I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you have more than one pair of shoes. You get more than your one pair of shoes a year for school. Where do you fall on this list? Let's think about it like on one side you have the complex list, and on the other side you have the GQ list. Now, if you're like me, you're probably more close in the middle, but I lean a little bit more to liking the GQ list. But in terms of owning the shoes, a little bit more in the complex list. Now, I'm in Austin, Texas. It's 100 degrees right now. We've experienced summer for the first time starting the beginning of August. June and July are amazing. August is back to normal. It is hot as heck. I have heard that temperatures are getting cooler in other parts of the country, so they can start to wear cooler, more awesome shoes, clothes, etc. Right now we're trying to wear as little clothes as possible to stay as cool as possible. So I understand that being in Austin, being in Dallas, being in Houston isn't the key demographic for this type of thing. Chicago, I get. Los Angeles, Miami, I guess so. New York, you know, you're talking about different climates. Climate notwithstanding, geography notwithstanding, we just don't get a lot of stuff here. I get it. New York, LA, Chicago, Miami, those are like the four big ones, but we have Dallas. Anyway, all that to say is I would wear way more fashionable, premium, you know, Italian fashion house type stuff if we got them. That's first problem is we don't get a lot of these. And secondly, if I had opportunity, but that's more of a subjective, that's more of a me thing. So in the comment section down below, let's talk about this. What do you think about the complex list? What do you think about the GQ list? Do you agree with some of them? Do you disagree? Who do you line up with a little bit more? Does it even matter? And that's what's fun about this, because I was trying to figure out, I want to talk about this complex list, but I want to do it in a way that's different than everyone going like, complex sucks. Because the reality is, I don't think complex sucks. I disagree with three of the shoes on their list. But that means that's still 7 that I go like, yeah, those are contenders for the end. They won't all make it. And it's not nearly as blasphemous as last year's putting the Nocta Glide as a top 10 shoe. Also, we have yet to see some of the Joe Fresh goods come out that came out after this list. The J-tips that are going to come out after this list. The Jordan 11s, the Jordan 1s, all that stuff that are supposed to come out later. Like, there's a lot of shoes yet to come out that will knock a lot of these shoes off the list. Will it do the same thing on the GQ list? I don't know. They'll do one at the end and I'll come back and we'll do it all over again and talk about it. But let's talk about the comment section down below. What do you think about these lists? Where do you line up? What's missing? What shoes are missing to you on either of these lists? And educate me. I'd love to know so I can go look them up and decide if I want to get them, because I love shoes. And what I like is that I can look at Complex and go like, yeah, I know about all those shoes. I've got what I want. And then I can go to GQ and go, oh God, I want that shoe. Like that Atmos and Adidas Gazelle 85. I'm going to get that shoe. I would love to get that New Balance MT100. I believe it's the brown one that looks like a ballet slipper. I'm not paying over $1,000 for it. There's some cool shoes on here. You should definitely take a look at the GQ. I'll put it in the description below so you can take a look at it. Let's talk about what you think about these lists, compare them, contrast them, give me your opinion, all that great stuff. So to all of you out there, wherever you are, thanks for watching. Stay tuned and just chill. Till the next episode.